All right, it's Sonoma week. Um, we'll just say first, this setup that I'm using and posting is a high downforce setup. So it will feel quite a bit different than the setups that I usually post. But I think it really works at Sonoma. The only places I've ever used high downforce is Sonoma and Barber. But I think it works here pretty well. Anything else to mention before I start? It looks like the track's going to be really hot this week. Whenever I've launched from the schedule, it's been like 36 to 38 degrees track temp Celsius. Right now I'm on 38-degree track. I probably wanted to mention something else, but it's slipping my mind. So coming through the final corner to the start finish, I'm looking right at the start finish as basically my turn-in point for this sweeping left-hander up the hill. Trying to just coast up the hill, carry as much speed as I can. And then tap of the brakes, but again, just kind of floating the car up the hill, carrying speed. Kind of half throttle once I shift to third there so I can make the corner. Drag the brakes over the crest. I'm looking for just before the first sign here. Getting into second. Hitting both apexes. Using this curb on the left and the right. Stab with the brakes to get the car turned left, and then another little stab to turn it right.
Sector 2 is a tenth off your best.
Braking right about halfway on that curb on the left. And then braking right at the middle of pit entry, of the lines of pit entry for the hairpin. Try to get a good lap here. So lifting and carrying the speed up the hill. I want to stay left. Oop, not that left. To open the entry to that right-hander, but not as far left as I did there. Sliding over the crest. Slight lift in third here. And then just light on the brakes. Kind of tracking out a bit more than I would if there was traffic. Just to set up the exit of the carousel. Not a bad lap. I messed up the first sector. Let me just go ahead and see if I can do that better right here.
That was 130.3. Sector 3 times okay.
We're staying left, getting into second, and then turning in early. Much better through there. Then a lift, tiny brake, carry the speed up the hill, then into second. Slide over the crest. Okay. That entire section right there was much better than I did before. So I guess real quick, is that, yeah, this lap. Yeah, so I'm turning in basically at the start finish, aiming for just get as close as I can here, carry as much speed as I can. I'm half throttle. I don't want to push out wide. I want to stay as left as I can while carrying speed. And then on this lap, I turned in too late. I'm trying to stay left. Oops. I'm trying to stay left here, which is good, just so I can get a better turn in to turn 2, but I turned in late, didn't get to the apex. You can use a lot of this curb, and then just trying to carry as much speed through here. And then here, right as the car starts to dip, I give it a touch of brakes to slow it down a bit. And then I'm trying to carry more speed up the hill, so I'm back on the throttle a little bit. And then I shift into second. I don't shift into second for this corner, because engine braking will just slow you down too much. You're trying to carry speed up the hill. So then now I'm shifting into second. Getting over the crest, kind of just sliding the car. That's the other thing I wanted to mention. Setup is very slidey. The high downforce will keep you from spinning, and to counteract the understeer that the high downforce gives you, the rear end is very, very slidey, especially with the elevation changes around Sonoma, like over this crest. As you see, I'm just kind of sliding all the way through there. Then into first here. Careful on the throttle coming out of here because I'm using first. I think you can use second here, and it's probably about the same. I'm just used to using first. If you use second, you can probably get on the throttle harder, and it about evens out. And then into third gear, and I'm half throttle as I'm getting through this this right-hander, then back on the throttle. Right here over the crest into the carousel, be wary of Nissans. Last time we were here, every other Nissan passed left and right. So it will be, this section especially will be very chaotic. They'll decide where they want to pass you, and you just have to hope they don't hit you. Very light brakes over the crest. Just dragging the brake to slow down, still on the brakes, very light down the hill. If there are Nissans around you in this scenario, I would stick closer to the inside, because they should be able to get around you on the outside. I wouldn't be double apexing this as hard. I would stick to the inside. It's slower, but safer not to die or kill a Nissan trying to pass you on the outside. And then I'm not fully back on the throttle. I'm waiting to get further down the hill, make sure I have enough grip to make this without tracking all the way into the dirt over there. And then right before the first sign, into second, hitting both apexes. Using the curb on the left, then hopping over this first curb. I usually lift right at this first curb, and then right at the second curb, stab of the brakes to get the car turned left. And then about halfway past that curb and this curb, another stab of the brakes to turn it to the right. And then if I'm on a very fast lap, I'm on the throttle a little bit earlier than this, and same thing as earlier in the lap, over the crest, kind of just sliding the car and getting closer to this curb on exit using all the track. Through here, I'm trying to stay flat, just lap by lap basis if it feels like the car has enough grip. See here, I'm lifting a little bit so I can stay left. And then about halfway down this curb, bit of brakes into third gear, using all the curb on the right, just using the entire track basically. And then, yeah, what I was saying for my brake point, I guess I need to get a better angle. What I was saying before, I'm looking, it's just kind of in between this paint and, whoops, in between the paint on the left for pit entry. Not the greatest brake marker. You can also look at the paint on the right, kind of where this this gap is as well. Using first gear, you can send it a little bit harder and get a better exit, or do what I did and hug the inside. Really depends on the situation. If you have a car around you, or which one you feel better at doing. I've had laps with the same sector time, doing it both ways. Using all the exit, but not hitting the wall, and all the way back around. And then, yeah, so the better sector one here, staying left, and then I'm turning in earlier so I can get onto the curb and be on throttle harder without sliding all the way off the track to the left, because I'm turned in more. And then, yeah, carrying the speed up the hill into second across here, sliding. Sonoma is one of my favorite tracks, so I may tinker with the setup more later this week, but this setup that I used here, this is what I'll be posting and using, at least for the Wednesday race, assuming I can make the Wednesday race. So